Hello viewers, welcome to Common Core and Gifted Learning. This is Sneha. Today I will be going over the topics of social study and science. Just to let you know that all these topics will be listed on my Facebook page and Instagram page as well. So please sit back and enjoy the video, and at your own convenience you can later on print them out. So you don't have to worry about copying and rushing around it. Thank you. Science, first grade. Any kind of science topic at the elementary level is divided into life science, earth science, and physical science. Our first subtopic will be life science, under which we have plants to start with. So, we will do an overview and a life cycle. Under that, first we will start with living and non-living things, and then we will do the parts of the plant and plants need and give. um, the under the parts of the plants we have we will studying about flowers and fruits and seeds, but we will not go deep into it, into dispersal and the parts of fruit or flower, but we will just talk about how it grows and changes, more like a life cycle. Animal overview, we will do talk about needs, like the plant and animal needs are kind of same and interdependent. We will not talk about food chain, but we will stick to about habitat and offsprings that they reproduce, and animal habitat, like, and also about the life cycle of animals, like for example frog, or say life cycle of a butterfly. And we will talk about animal mothers and babies and how they look alike. And then animals and plants, we will talk about how they coexist together, more like a prelude to the food chain and interdependency in a environment. And then adaptation, like how they adapt from place to place and time to time over a period of like centuries. This is more like a prelude to hibernation and migration, all these kind of concepts. Then we will have different types of habitat, like land habitat, water habitat, how the animals are different in land habitat and water habitat, and how they have special organs inside them that helps them to adapt, for example gills, or for example lungs. So we will have we'll talk about fish versus an amphibian. So we will not use like the amphibian and all that terminology here, but we will give them like an idea that helps actually to the animals to actually adjust to this kind of a habitat, like land habitat or a water habitat, even a desert habitat, for example. Then we have human body, five senses, and food groups and nutrition, healthy habits. And we will talk about the five senses and what do we use, to smell, to see. And we can do five things we smell: in home, out home, outside environment, or five things you will use your eyes. This is more like a prelude to go into detail about the parts of human body. And with that we will talk about nutrition and how nutrition helps, because later on when they will study about muscle and bones, they can relate how this food nutrition is interconnected with the muscles and the growth of like bones and healthy bones, etc. Then we come to earth science. For earth science, we will study about earth, rock, and soil. Like, earth is composed of rocks and soil and water and a lot of other stuffs together. And the changes on the land, as in this is more like a prelude to erosion and metamorphosis of rocks, to talk about like how, land forms over a period of time, changes into flatlands, how mountains with erosions becomes flatter, and different types of landforms are formed actually by changes in weather. Earth resources, use and save. This is about resources of the earth, how what are the resources of the earth, natural resources, and how you can, how for what it can be used, and how we can save these. And 3R stands for reduce, reuse, and recycle. These are the three concepts we will be discussing. Then comes weather, like weather. What is weather and how weather is different from season, and what are the clothes we wear during that time, and what is the temperature like, how it changes over a period of like a year. So these are the things we will talk about under weather. Then comes water cycle. For water cycle, we'll do nothing specific. It will be more like we will talk about the first the bodies of water, and how this we'll not go into detail like definitions like evaporation or condensation or formation of cloud. We'll just tell them like how the cycle actually moves, and mostly pictorial, just to give them an idea that it becomes hot and it rises up and it forms cloud and it comes back. So there is how, and it sometimes comes in a form of hail. So this is more like a prelude to teach them the changes in the state of matter later on for solid liquid gas. So this will be a very good example later on to set when you teach them the states of matter and its changes. So I would go in keeping that in mind. Season and changes, as I said, like this will be more like to teach them rotation and revolution, like how rotation causes days and night and revolution causes the season change, like season and it changes in the season, and how it kind of the it affects the temperature, the rainfall, and also the plants and animals. All the changes we will go over season one at a time, all four of them, and we'll talk about that. Then sky and cloud, like what are the stuffs we have in sky, like sun and moon and stars, what are the things we see, and we have clouds. We'll not go into detail like different types of clouds like stratus or cumulonimbus and all that detail, but we'll talk about how cloud is formed, and how cloud itself is a type of weather. So anything related to sky, and how, why can't we see the planets, and why can we see the sun, and why we see the moon, why we cannot see the moon during the daytime. Very simple facts. Earth's movement will be the next, the rotation and revolution. So season change and rotation and revolution I would do back to back, because they are interrelated, and we don't use the term rotation and revolution at this level. But if your child is advanced, you just can give it to them. I personally actually tell them that okay, this is called rotation, this is called revolution, and we talk about how the sun stays in one place and things move around, and how it rotates in its own place, as well as it rotates like it kind of pivots around the sun, and the season changes and how time is related to this. So a very abstract overview, nothing like concrete with definitions, but I think pictorially, if you just teach them, that should be enough. But just giving them few terms and what actually are the effects of rotation and revolution. Earth's neighbors, so like sky and cloud and Earth's neighbors are kind of interrelated. So sun, moon, and its phases. We do like how sun. What are the uses of sun? Like why sunlight is necessary, and why how is moon, like what is the temperature like there, and how it kind of changes, and what actually makes forms the phases, why it moon has different shapes and phases over a period of time. Then we will come to physical science. For physical science, first we have matter overview. We will tell like what matter is, what is, and matter can be anything, and matter kind of can change, cannot change. And then we'll talk about solid liquid gas. In solid liquid gas we will talk about different examples, like how solids are different from liquid and gas, and we can tell them to name each, like two of each. We are not going into difference into like molecules and stuff, just the basic the physical attributes of solid liquid gas. Changes in matter. Changes in matter is basically what I was talking about in the water cycle part, that how Ice can be melted into water, and then water can be boiled for evaporation. So this will be a good opportunity to teach the words like what is evaporation, what is condensation, uh, freezing, boiling, this type of physical properties of matter. Mixture, like all solids cannot be mixed. What can blend, what cannot blend. Oil and water cannot be blend. Sink and float, like what are the things it can sink and what are the things it floats. As well as we'll talk about how the weight of a matter is directly proportional to its sinking ability, and how it's indirectly proportional to its floating mechanism. And we'll talk about textures like smooth, rough, and what defines texture. And then we have heat on matter, that will be a part of the changes in matter. And then position and motion. Position and motion will be more like, we'll talk about push pull. And then we'll talk about like how things in motion can actually, motion helps when change in position. That, as I said, push pull. Push and how push is different from pull, and give examples. So basically the definition, not definition exact, but more like what it is actually, and giving an example is what you have to. So most of the science is about knowing the thing and example. Simple machines. Under simple machines we'll be doing like uh, very simple, like inclined planes, pulley, and ramp. And then we have magnets. For magnets, it's basic magnets, like what are the how like what are magnetic properties, as in like what things a magnet can attract and what not. Metal and non-metal concept. And magnets have north and south pole, and then they attract each other. If you don't want to go into detail into the poles, just stick to metal, non-metal, and how they attract. Energy and heat. For energy and heat, I will talk about how helps us with our daily life. And we also talk about over here about different forms of energy, like sound energy, light energy, electrical energy, just the terminologies and examples. Then we'll talk about sound, like sound is formed of vibrations, and how different kind of sounds have different kinds of vibration, and how sound is measured in decibels, general things about sounds. Then we have electricity, like what are the ways we can have electricity, and what is a electric thing and what is a non-electric thing, stuffs like that, an example. So that was the end of our video today. See you in the next one. Bye bye.